Welcome into Arrowhead Allies, everybody. It is a Victory Monday here, and if you're a Ravens fan that somehow found your way on this Chiefs show, I promise you I will stay the whole show. I won't quit on you like your quarterback did. I'm here for the full hour, maybe even some extra time. But guys, we have a hell of a show coming for you tonight because we have Hall of Fame coach Dick Vermeil from the Eagles, Rams, and Chiefs. He will be on this show around 6:30. We can't wait to get into all this and more because he's good friends with Andy Reid. He's close to this program. He knows all, so we will ask him. And Clint, got to go to you, my friend. We had this a close game. It was anything but that.
It was, and I said, I'm not going to allow the Chiefs. I'm not going to give them any more than 24 points. That's what I believe they're capable of putting on the board at this present time. We're going to get into some topics here coming up, and we're going to get into this all the way. We're going to go all the way in here and delve into this huge victory because I do think this is a win that resets the season and the expectations. And yes, 37 points on the board for the first time since Taylor Swift's first game out at Arrowhead. Let me hear you, Tay-Tay.
Tay-Tay's nowhere to be found. But tonight, you guys, I want to start with Noah. Lamar Jackson left this game with what would be called a hamstring injury. It's even hard for me to say because I don't even know if it was for real. But was that really just him pouting and taking his ball and going home after his usual disappointing act against the Chiefs?
I mean, that's what everybody's saying. That's what it looks like. Even John Harbaugh is like kind of covert about it, just like, well, we're not sure how bad it is. We'll see. It's not a grade 2 like Roquan Smith is, who's going to be out for a while. But I think maybe hurt a little something, maybe a bruise in the back of his leg, and he's just calling it a hamstring injury. And yeah, I think he pretty much, like I said, maybe it was a little bruised, but he kind of tapped out and said, I'm done for today. Send Cooper Rush out there. I'm tired of this Chiefs defense. I'm tired of our own defense. I'm tired of not being able to make plays, getting sacked, fumbling the ball. This has just been too much for me to start the season. Let me regroup, sit on the bench, and try next time.
I don't know, man. I think that as a coach, you have a responsibility for your team, players, front office, fans. You're responsible for everybody. And the way that the Ravens have been decimated with injuries, look, man, I think it was a hardball decision, whether he wants to state it or not. I think he was scared of even more damage being done to his team. It's one thing for your D tackle or DN or a cornerback to be injured and put on IR, but you don't want that for Lamar Jackson. Because if that happens, then there is a major shakeup in Baltimore. I think we're already on the precipice of that happening right now with John Harbaugh. I think that he was walking into a steaming hot pot of hot water with his job because he's been there so many years since 2008 and have only produced one Super Bowl. But you got Lamar Jackson, now a 2-time MVP, and it's like now people are thinking he's been underperforming as a coach. So he was already walking into hot water this season. And his job is on the line. His coach's job's on the line. There are plenty of players' jobs is on the line with all of this because that window for the Ravens, it's getting mighty tight. It's kind of closing a little bit with this John Harbaugh, Lamar Jackson era of football. So as a coach, man, after seeing so many injuries happen to my team, I would not want that to happen to my quarterback, especially one that's susceptible to that with his style of playing football. So whether he was hurt or not, I don't know. I thought it was a responsible thing for John Harbaugh to do.
Fair.
Well said.
All right, Brian, the Chiefs defense deserves a lot of credit here. They held Lamar Jackson in check and limited Derrick Henry to just 42 yards rushing. After a shaky week 1, how good has this defense been looking lately to you?
They've been impressive on every single front, every single layer. The D-line has been pretty good, especially stout against the run against every team that we played this year. But the linebackers, Nick Bolton, I think he stepped his game up tremendously. Even though he was already known as a great run stuffer, I think he's taken that to another level. He's been everywhere. He's been a little Tasmanian devil up in there. And then you look at yesterday. I don't know about you all, but I was shocked. I didn't know Leo Chenal had that in him. I didn't know that he was. he won a hand at that.
I don't think Leo did either.
I had no clue. But I think everybody on defense is outperforming their expectations. Trent McDuffie, lockdown corner. I saw him in action yesterday. They didn't throw to him but maybe 2-3 times at the most. And it's been like that with every game with McDuffie. It's like they don't even look McDuffie's way to whoever he's guarding. So, man, Spags, he brought the big bag out yesterday, baby. Because every time he plays Lamar Jackson just turns into a different player. He turns into Samuel Jackson uh, when he's playing the Chiefs. He's a totally different quarterback. The Chiefs seem to be the aggressor, and they seem to dominate more. In that first game, there was no energy in Brazil, none whatsoever. And it has not been like that. Every single game they've came out, and I think they punched the opponent in the mouth. And I think they learned a hard lesson with the Chargers, because the Chiefs got punched in the mouth week 1 against the Chargers, especially on defense. So minimizing those errors, and I told y'all week 1, all of those things were fixable with this defense. While everybody was panicking, there are certain things, like it's one thing if it's a skill issue or a will issue, but it was none of that. It was just, I guess, a knowledge issue week 1, and being familiar with your teammates and how they are on the field. Oh, by the way, Noah Williams.
Yeah, no.
Oh my God, I've never seen anybody. He had Eric Warfield. Maybe he was the last one that was this aggressive. Like he literally almost body slams his receivers when he's going against them. So, man, I just love the aggressiveness of the defense, and I think they've really stepped that part of the game up, which has, to me, made a total difference in each and every game.
And the secondary, Noah, you called them the Keystone Cops week 1, and they've answered. Brian talked about Noah Williams. We've seen Trent McDuffie do what Trent McDuffie does. Jalen Watson's having a great season, and even that back end, Brian Cook is probably your least favorite member of this secondary. He had a penalty. He struggles at times, but even the back end, Jaden Hicks included, playing really well right now.
All right, Clint, you want to talk about Xavier Worthy being back? What a difference he's made, guys. Was this offensive explosion more about a bad Ravens defense, or should Chiefs fans really feel hopeful after the highest output since September of 2023?
Hey, give me a little bit of both. But you know what? I'm focusing on the Chiefs from here on out. And yes, it is the perfect injection into the veins of what this offense needed. And Xavier Worthy being back, you heard what he said after the game, which is he wanted to go back in against the Chargers week 1 when he dislocated his shoulder after Travis Kelce massacred him. We may be a Xavier Worthy, collision with Travis Kelce had that not happened away from this team really being off to a hot start here. And it's unfortunate, as you see kind of this first play where Mahomes was able to get Worthy on a go route here where he just beats the defender there. And it's just great to see that. They tried it time and again. And even when Mahomes wasn't able to hit it, you're still testing it, still testing this defense downfield. And Mahomes, by the way, had one of the best games I've seen him have maybe in a couple years, maybe back to early in 2023. So this offense looked crisp. The line played well. They were able to utilize him in the screen game and in the running game, which helped give this offense 100 yards rushing as a team. All in all, Worthy back. We're not even talking yet about Rashee Rice. Give us 2 weeks and get back to me, and we might be really talking about the fireworks that were promised for this offense.
Did anybody go to the game yesterday?
Brian did.
Oh, yeah.
Brian, you were there.
Front and center, baby.
Woo!
Yeah. Got some good footage, too. I can't wait till Coach Vermeil comes on, because I want to ask him about, take the top 2 receivers off any team in the NFL. Take them. Let's just take the Bengals. They're playing tonight. You take T. Higgins and Jamar Chase off that team. What does that offense look like?
Well,
you take Jamar Chase and Jordan Addison off the Vikings. What does that offense look like? Just take your number of team. I don't care what it is. Bro, Patrick Mahomes isn't immune to playing sloppy or to playing how he's been playing the past year and a half or so since his top 2 weapons have been out. And I just don't understand. These analysts, they get paid thousands, if not millions of dollars to analyze these things. And nobody thought that having Xavier Worthy, the guy who's kind of the oil to the offense, who opens everything up, nobody ever thought that, damn, maybe when they do get him back, it'll change everything. because it certainly did yesterday. It was a brand new team. It opens up the run game. It opens up Travis Kelce. It opens up the slot with Juju Smith-Schuster. You saw him getting pivotal yards. It just puts the team in a certain position in certain downs where they're ahead of schedule. You don't want to be 2nd and 10 or 3rd and 7. You saw a lot of 3rd and 2s, 4th and 1s yesterday to where Kareem Hunt, that's why he led the team in carries with 13 carries, 29 yards or something like that. Don't look at the yards per average with Kareem Hunt. The fact is that he converts 3rd and 4th downs each and every time that he gets it. So Xavier Worthy just opens up everything for this offense, in my opinion. And when Rashee Rice gets back,
Yeah, I mean, you said Xavier Worthy opens up the run game. He does. He was the leading rusher yesterday. I guess it's never going to be a running back, whether it's Worthy, whether it's Mahomes. It's just never, unless we trade for someone, I don't know if it's ever going to be an actual running back. And
we saw the screen game getting popping yesterday. Noah, come on,
absolutely.
Baby. The screen game is
I'm
back.
loving it, man. John Harbaugh said he wanted to keep us in 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, like you were talking about. And he's like, we just couldn't do it. And so then they get in those 3rd and shorts. And we're actually, that's kind of where people used to want us because we could never convert those. Now with Kareem Hunt, he's able to be patient, find the hole, burst through there, and get the first down.
Now, Noah, last week you called the Chargers fake, right? Do you remember that?
I did, yes.
Now they go on the road and lose to the Giants. Where do the Chargers sit today on your fake meter?
Well, that's Bobby Hebert there, but I don't know. I might have to loan his name out to Justin Herbert and Justin Hebert because, like I said, this guy is just not it. I've never believed in him going back to his college days. And before I go further into this, let's go back to the video clip from last week of me talking about not believing in this Chargers team. And I might be the biggest non-believer in the Chargers. I don't even know if they're good, Brian. I guess good.
They're good. They're good. They're good.
I don't even think they're good. Like above average. Like they can be 3-0 all they want. We played horrendous. I'm not a believer in them whatsoever. I've never believed in Justin Herbert ever since he came out of college. He had big games in college. Go back, Oregon, Arizona State. They should have walked over him, and he's throwing picks left and right.
Out for Justin Herbert next year. I'll see it when I believe it. Yeah.
I missed that song.
I'm going to have to see it when I believe it as well, Patrick, because I ain't seen it. I don't believe it.
Hey, Chiefs gained the game right there, and that's why we don't end the season after a quarter of the way through because, that Giants team, I actually like some of the pieces they have now. Malik Neighbors out for the year is devastating. I hate to see that. Like, I'm glad to see Jackson Dart getting in there and like Bo Scatabo, like that's like a fun little combination the Giants have. If they just went back to the 80s Lawrence Taylor uniforms full time, I might be full on a Giant supporter. Good job, Giants, for winning that game and giving us a hand there.
I think they have incredible uniforms. I think the Giants have one of the best uniforms in the league, to be honest. Home and away. Yeah, definitely. Look, the Chargers, though, we got to be fair, though, with them yesterday as they lost Joe Alt. Not sure how long he's going to be out, but he wasn't playing yesterday. And when you don't have your top 2 tackles, we know what that looks like here in Chiefs Kingdom better than anybody.
Mm-hmm. All right, Brian, here we go again. Another missed Butker field goal. This one turning the end of the half into a 6-point swing. How are you feeling right now about our once beloved butt kicker?
I feel justified in feeling how I felt last week. As I did talk about it in Brian's world, how he's become a problem. And if the Ravens were a healthy team, if they were somebody who was maybe, playing for a playoff spot, that game could have went totally sideways. The Chiefs had a stranglehold in that game in the second quarter. That's when they really started to take control. Butker goes down and misses a field goal. All of a sudden now, here's the thing with these missed field goals. Now the Ravens are in field goal range because they have great field position. And they went on and proceeded to get a field goal of their own, which, as you stated, was a 6-point swing. And those swings, they're monumental. Mm-hmm. Like, you look at the interception, and no, this doesn't have anything to do with Butker, but with momentum. The interception against the Eagles, that's a 14-point swing right there because they go on and score a touchdown right there. with Butker, how many point swings have we seen with him this year? It's been in every single game where he's affected what the Chiefs could have done or the strategy of the game. So it continues to be a problem with him. The Chiefs are not going to cut him. Nothing's going to happen with Butker. He's just going to have to improve right now. His contract is too ironclad. His contract is too much. He's a political wildfire, and that, believe it or not, that plays a part in this whole thing, whether people want to believe that or not. Because just imagine the Chiefs cut Harrison Butker, and then Trump goes on social media and clowns the Chiefs or something like they shouldn't have let a great kicker like that go. How dare them? This, that, and the other. That's besides the point right now, because the Chiefs are not going to let him go. But he is becoming problematic. Yes, he's been his most clutch, and he's been his best when it matters the most, in the playoffs and in the Super Bowl. But we're traveling down some roads that we have not been down with Harrison Butker. So we don't know if this is him declining as a player, if it's him getting older, if the injuries are starting to catch. We don't know right now. But it is concerning to me, and it continues to be a concern that he continues to miss at least one kick per game now.
Do you guys think there's like a mental block after you miss so many, and it's like you get out there and he has to psych himself out? I don't think it's a skill problem.
It's probably a little bit of that. Like if you play golf, I'm not a golf player, but I know that as far as golf, if your swing is off a little bit a couple times, it can really affect your psyche. Kicking is more mental than physical at the end of the day. So yeah.
And he's had the physical problems. He's had the injuries, Noah, like you talked about last week, and what we talked to him about at the Super Bowl with the knee procedure he had last year, and some of the technique and things like that. And that can really, in this day and age, in 1994, you're not attempting 56-yard field goals, let alone missing them like Butker is. Now, you just had the Bucs kicker hit from 65 earlier in the day, and there's these guys, like Brian said last week, these guys are just kicking it out of the stadium. I mean, this new crop. So whereas Butker at one point was as automatic as it gets, and he hit game winner after game winner. I mean, sent us to the Super Bowl in 22, kicked a game time field goal to go to overtime in the Super Bowl 58. I mean, he's been there for the biggest of moments, kicked the game winning field goal in 57. Biggest of moments, clutch, no doubt about it, but something's going to have to change here, and we'll see if it does.
All right, Clint.
Yeah, Renee Wade Kelly here says Butker just hasn't been the same since he got hurt, and that's kind of what that injury, and now could be playing a mental factor as well.
God bless him. All right, Clint, big picture question here. The AFC looks wide open with the Bills as the only unbeaten team. Can the Chiefs climb back into the mix, not just for the division, but maybe even the number one seed?
They cannot be the number one seed now. That is over. That is done. The Bills have won that.
No, it ain't.
It's wrapped up. Thank you. I heard the echo. You agreed with me. It's wrapped up. The Bills, who play in the AFC East, to what is the second best team, the New England Patriots at this point, and that's hilarious to even consider. I don't know that they're going to have a loss inside their division. And as you look at the schedule here, of course, they're beating the Chiefs November 2nd. That's a given. That's hilarious. Again, that's just as sure as death and taxes. Chiefs losing to the Bills in the regular season. Oh, look. Oh, a tough game. The Bengals. Oh, well, Joe Burrow might be back by around then or the week after. We'll see about that. Oh, at Bucks. Well, that's a maybe. I mean, their numbers just aren't there. Meanwhile, the Chiefs have, the 3-1 Jaguars and the 3-1 Lions coming up in the next two. Hell, the Chiefs are going to be mathematically, to even get back in the division race is going to be really hard. Why? Because the Chargers play no one. Noah, you haven't
just lost to no one, so I guess they can lose to anybody now. So
it's Los Angeles Chargers, guys. The Commanders, is Jaden Daniels going to be back playing football anytime soon? Look at this schedule. It's not there. The Chiefs,
Colts, Vikings, Eagles, Jaguars,
Steelers playing well.
Maybe the Cowboys can sneak up on them and I'm just when it comes to predicting schedules and predicting wins and losses ahead of time, we don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
We don't know. Like, we didn't know yesterday that Joe Alt was going to get hurt and that how it affected the Chargers, and they lost to the Giants. Nobody was expecting the Chargers to lose to the Jackson Dart-led Giants yesterday. So I just think it's irresponsible. I know, and I like to do it too a little bit. But I just think it's not the smartest thing to predict wins and losses right now because there are so many circumstances that could change. And hell, the Chargers aren't Teflon. Like the Bills aren't Teflon. The Bills were struggling with the Saints.
Yeah.
Spencer Rattler came into Buffalo and was giving the Bills trouble. So I don't look. I don't want to hear about the number 1 seed being locked up. Not 4 games into the season.
Clint, he said he doesn't want to hear about it. So let's go to a happy subject and look at Patrick Mahomes' 4 touchdowns. Firing it in there to Juju on that first one there. And then we get Pacheco in the end zone. He can't run it in, but
I love that we got him in the end zone, though.
Yeah, that's good for his confidence.
And
Over the top, Tyquan Thornton.
That one was right in front of Brian.
Yeah, it was. And this one was beautiful. That was my favorite one, probably the one to Hollywood Brown. Because it's like, oh my God, Andy's going for the kill shot. And I think that was one of his special playoff plays right there. That was a little nifty design. I love that one.
You guys realize that the Kansas City Chiefs, since 2021, had not won back-to-back games by 13 or more points until last week and this week. We're taking victories where we can get them with this offense and the even the minute improvements. In this case, a giant improvement. So it's been a while since there's been a party time at Arrowhead Stadium. Brian, and you were there, like to get that feeling that just like when the stadium's rocking and the team's down and you know that the game is over by the start of the fourth quarter, Lamar's out. It's insurmountable. Like just the feeling inside Arrowhead. It's not tense. It's not down to the wire. It's a different feeling.
Haven't felt like that in a while, to be honest, Clint, because look, let me tell you, I always sit by the visitors. The visitors are always in my area. 109 at Arrowhead, by the way. And they were miserable yesterday. I was talking to some Baltimore Ravens fans who had came here from St. Louis, and they did not enjoy. Maybe they enjoyed the first opening drive of the game, but other than that, they didn't have a good time at Arrowhead at all.
Everybody's hurt.
Yes. And I'm gonna be honest, I was shocked when I saw Cooper Rush in there in the third quarter. I was like, first off, why is he their backup? Like you would think that the Ravens would have a backup that plays similar to Lamar Jackson, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, it's always a good time when Arrowhead is rocking like that. And like you said at the top of the show, the Chiefs haven't had a win like that at Arrowhead since the Bears game. Was that not last year, but in 23? Was that 23?
Taylor's first game.
That was 2 years ago. That's crazy. So it just goes to show what a healthy offensive line can do. Because that old line, look, Jawan Taylor deserves his flowers this week. There was no penalties on him, and he did a damn good job. As well as Kingsley Sumatai. He has really solidified himself as this team's starting left guard. I made sure I kept a close eye on him. He was looking good, but it's a different experience at Arrowhead whenever the team is rocking and fans are feeling good and Patrick Mahomes is making 40, 50-yard passes and he's chopping up the Ravens defense to touchdown Tyquan Thornton. It really was a party at Arrowhead yesterday. It was one of them days.
It was one of those games, too, where they were able to really build their confidence. I think this game is really important for them to kind of continue down this trajectory.
Oh,
for
yes.
sure. For sure.
Oh, Bashard, he has some juice, baby.
Let's go SMU, Coach Rob Likens.
Get Kelsey involved a little bit.
That was a great throw.
Kelsey's role is kind of evolving into what I kind of enjoy, honestly, what I'm seeing from Kelsey's current role. He's averaging right around 50 yards a game. He's getting the underneath stuff. He's sitting down in zones like Kelsey does. We've got to get him in the end zone.
And he's going to get more of that. He's going to eat more when we get our side of rice. He's going to eat more because people are going to be now focusing in on Rashid now because he's going to get a lot of targets. Andy's going to make sure that he gets the ball. And when that happens, okay, now we got Kelsey working this thing underneath. Okay, you want to guard that? Okay, fine. We'll have Xavier Worthy on an end around, on a reverse or something like that. Okay, you want to pay attention to that? Okay, fine. We got Hollywood Brown going on some type of streak. Okay, you want to worry about? Okay, fine. We got Juju Smith-Schuster in the slot right here. Like, they could not guard Juju Smith-Schuster yesterday. I don't know if you all saw that, but
Yeah.
anytime that he wanted a chunk play, an 8-yard gain, a 7-yard gain in the middle, they could not guard him because of the attention of everybody else. And let me tell you about that run game, because you played that Brashard Smith. If you pay close attention to how the Chiefs are using their running backs, I love it. Yesterday, I thought they did it perfectly. You're using Pacheco on the early downs to kind of set the tone, and then when it's short yardage, you bring Kareem Hunt in for the bulldozer yards, and then though the screen game, we talked about it briefly. You saw it expand a little bit with Brashard Smith. You saw him going on fake end arounds. You're starting to see him getting inserted into the game plan, and yet another weapon that this offense can use. I'm excited for the future of this offense, ladies and gentlemen. I
For
really
sure.
am.
We might finally get to that everybody eats.
EBE.
Yeah.
We might get there. Noah, if people start eating, are we gonna finally get the shirts, the everybody eats shirts?
We have to, yeah. If everybody starts eating, if we get Rasheed back, and I mean, we already saw it with the receivers, saw it a little bit out of Brashard. If he can get better and kind of develop as the season goes along, then I think we'll see more out of Brashard, and we'll see him kind of really take over that Jerick McKinnon role that we've missed since he left and tried to make it
Mr.
Samaje
Bad.
Perine. Yeah. And we've got Renee Wade Kelly here saying, do you think Lamar was hurt or did he give up? That was our first topic of the night. And we kind of said somewhere maybe in the middle, maybe a little nicked up, but he also kind of threw in the towel as well.
Coach's
And we got
decision.
Chiefs could have easily scored 50 points. Against the Ravens, they just ran out of clock. Yeah, it should have been 40 had Butker not missed his kick. So, Clint, do you have news? Looks like you're shocked there. I don't know if he can hear us.
Was it Taylor
Coach,
Swift, Clint? Taylor called you?
he looks like how Trent Green used to look when Coach Vermeil was giving him plays in the years that, or Al Saunders was giving him plays. Clint, you okay?
We do have this to get to. We've got some nominations for the Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 2026.
Uh-oh.
Alex Smith, which was a shocker. And then Eric Berry, Jamal Charles, Priest Holmes, Brian Waters, and James Hasty are the Chiefs that are up for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. They're nominated. Maybe, I don't know, maybe Eric Berry, Jamal Charles, Priest Holmes, Brian Waters.
Look, I think our hopeful out of that group is Jamal.
Yeah.
I don't think Alex Smith stands a chance. Although, look, I loved Alex Smith. I just you look at the bar of quarterbacks and where it's set. He's not there. He had a great career though. Everybody's not a Hall of Famer, but Jamal Charles to me states a special case based on his yards per carry and where it stands historically. It stood throughout his career, the over 5 yards per carry thing, and that nobody has ever accomplished that besides him and Jim Brown, and there might have been one other back, I'm not sure. But just to be in a short list in the class with Jim Brown included, I think Jamal Charles definitely deserves some serious consideration, although his numbers may not stack up to other Hall of Fame running backs.
Sorry, guys, just trying to get Coach the link here. He called me and it was not working for him, so we're trying to get Coach Vermeil on right now. He's trying to join, and I just resent him the link. I'm not that.
There we go.
Sounds like it. And there it is. Yes.
Yeah. Right.
Coach Vermeil is in the house. Coach, we got you in here. We made it happen. How are you?
The legend.
I'm doing all right. Other than fighting credit card problems, I'm doing great. Thank you.
What?
Oh, you sound like me.
What?
Oh, God, I thank you. I've been through so many credit cards in the last month that I'm embarrassed to say.
Well,
I was buying Euro passes this week in Netherlands. Okay.
What? Oh my gosh. Well, that comes for all of us at some point. It makes me feel a little more human knowing that it happens to someone else other than just me, Coach. But welcome to it. Well, how's everything been going? You're in Pennsylvania right now. What have you been up to, Coach?
Well, not a lot. I've been rehabbing a back operation for a while now, and it's getting there after 10 months, and I'm walking a little better. I walk with a cane part of the time, but overall, I'm healthy, and I'm very fortunate for that because I have a lot of friends that are not.
Well, Coach, we're glad that you're feeling better there. And are you able to walk the vineyards? We got VermeilWines.com here. What's the latest and greatest that's going on with Vermeil Wines?
I was out there for 3.5 weeks and did not pick one red grape. The crop is late this year. It doesn't mean it's not good. Doesn't mean there isn't going to be a good volume. They just weren't ready to be picked yet, and I had to come home. But they can get along without me. They've done it before. But I missed it. I enjoy driving the tractor in the morning, that kind of stuff. And I like to believe they need my help.
They do. Of course they do, Coach.
Yeah, maybe.
And thanks for joining the show, Coach. It's an honor to talk to you again. Thank you so much. I have a 2-part question. And this goes into your coaching strategy and how you view things. One, going into a season, how much did you actually build your offenses? Let's use the Chiefs for an example. The 2002, 2003, 2004 Chiefs, when you had Gonzalez, Eddie Kennison, Bo Richter, Priest Holmes. We know the cast of characters, Tony Gonzalez. How much of that offseason, going into the season, did you take time to build around Tony Gonzalez and Priest Holmes?
Well, I think, along with all the help of my coordinator, Alex Saunders, and staff, they did a great job of building offense that would be suitable to the kind of athletes that we had. And we were very, very, very skilled. We didn't have any all-pro wide receivers, but good wide receivers, the Hall of Fame tight end, Hall of Fame left tackle, Hall of Fame right guard. Now the left guards, Brian Waters has been nominated for the Hall of Fame. And we had Tony Richardson in the backfield along with Trent Green, a Pro Bowl player. So, and Priest Holmes, Pro Bowl player. And so we had a lot of talent there. Now Saunders and staff did a great job of doing great things with it. In fact, most people don't believe me when I tell them this, but we get great credit for the greatest show on turf in St. Louis. And it was a hell of an offense. A lot of fine players and good coaching by Marks and staff. But my 2003 offense and 2004 offense, offensive touchdowns scored more than the greatest show on turf. Okay, more touchdowns. Our greatest show on turf stats were a little bit distorted in that we scored 11 touchdowns with the offensive team sitting on the bench watching the other guys play. So anyway, we did a lot. We our coaches did a great job. We had a great offensive line, so it allowed you to pretty much do what you wanted to do.
My second part of this question is, with the Chiefs losing or not having Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy, how much of an effect of losing those players do you think had into the game plans against the Chargers, Eagles, and the Giants as to see the Chiefs not be in the same offense as they were building coming into the season?
Well, I think it makes a big difference. There's no question it makes a difference because you aren't as explosive. You can't do some of the things you were going to do with those healthy players, and they're not there. The design of the passing scheme, how far you're going downfield and how often you're going downfield, and also the condition of the offensive line. I think the offensive line is a little better now as I watch them. The young left tackle, the rookie, I think he'll just continue to get better. The right tackle's got some issues, too many penalties, and maybe a good kick in the rear end once in a while would help him. But I think it would definitely affect me. I know it has to affect a fine coach like our guy, Andy. How he likes to throw the ball and be limited a little bit. No one would know what they can and what they can't do better than Andy Reid and staff.
Coach, thank you so much for being here. Now you've been played in Hollywood by Greg Kinnear and Dennis Quaid, two of Hollywood's best actors in films over the years. Did you have a favorite?
Well, Dennis Quaid actually talked with me. They actually used some of my conversations with Kurt Warner, word for word. And that made me feel that I made a contribution to it because, the Invincible movie, I never talked to anybody. All I did was read the script prior to the movie. And I told them there were a lot of things in that script that were not true. And they told me, Coach, we're not doing a documentary. We're telling the story. But I'll tell you this, I don't go anywhere in the country where people don't ask me about that movie today, yesterday, or tomorrow. If I go somewhere, someone's going to ask me about Invincible.
Well, Coach, Andy Reid talked about in this offseason during one of his press conferences that he has frequent conversations with you, that he talks to you quite a bit. And just curious as to kind of what those conversations are usually like. Are you giving him some advice? Are you telling him to call some different plays? Like what are the conversations like between you and Andy Reid when you talk?
Well, mainly during the season, they're just short text messages. Usually I let him know I'm watching and hope it goes well. And hey, too bad it didn't go well. Those kinds of things. But I don't give Andy any advice. He's been in the game longer than I have, coached more games, won more games, and knows better what to do with his football team than I do. I'm just his biggest fan.
Coach, there's been a lot of talk in the media that Patrick Mahomes is regressing over these last couple of years. The offense isn't what it used to be. And we've had one pundit, Mike Greenberg, say Josh Allen is the best quarterback that I've ever seen. He's the best that I've ever seen play the position. What do you make of all the pundits out there trying to anoint someone else over Patrick Mahomes and take away from him and his greatness that he kind of retook and showed them that, no, it's still there?
Well, we know Allen's a great player. Okay, and if he has a better supporting cast that's healthier and more productive right now, he's going to look better than he would if maybe he was in a situation where they were injured at the wide receiver position. The defense wasn't playing that well. I think that Chiefs defense is playing pretty darn well as it is, and maybe more pressure on them right now than normal because they aren't just blowing people out. But Patrick Mahomes is still the number one quarterback in the NFL, and everybody's chasing him. And there's always going to be writers that sometimes don't really understand the total process to when they make a comment like someone's better than somebody else, But hey, they're both awfully fine players. Hey, right now I'm sitting in a city where poor quarterback didn't throw a complete pass in the second half. You talk about getting eaten alive. My God, can you imagine if that had happened in Kansas City now after all the success? And he's a great player. Okay, Jalen Hurts is a great player and one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league, but it wasn't a good day for him in the second half yesterday. And everybody contributes to that performance or that kind of incomplete passing game performance.
Yeah. Coach John Harbaugh, coach of the Ravens, he's under a little fire right now with some of the things that he's done this year with how his team is performing. But one thing in particular is Lamar Jackson. Is he injured? Is he not? And earlier in the show, we discussed this topic, and I thought that John Harbaugh had a responsibility for not only his team, but the other players, the coaching staff, the fans, the front office, to make sure you protect all of your players. And when you're on the sideline and you're seeing your defense and your whole team getting decimated by injuries, do you kind of blame for John Harbaugh for, I don't want to say he took Lamar Jackson out, but do you blame him for kind of setting him to the side and saving him for another day?
Well, I don't know if he actually did that or not. Okay, I can assume that he did that by watching the game. But, Jackson, you're going to do your best to protect him just like his offensive linemen are, But I'm sure the situation in John Harbaugh's mind, it was the right thing to do. I'm sure I would have done the same thing if I thought it was the right thing to do. I know Andrew Reid would do the same thing. But I don't know. I don't have the depth of understanding of what was going on during that ball game and in John Harbaugh's head. I would never second guess John Harbaugh. Okay, he's well trained by Andy Reid. Okay, that's a nice foundation. And then he's been so good as a football coach and handled a lot of variables, a lot of highs and lows. He's been to Super Bowl and won it and all that kind of stuff. So I wouldn't even begin second guessing what he does and how he thinks in regard to his quarterback.
Coach Priest Holmes was the honorary drum guy yesterday at Sunday's Chiefs and Ravens game.
Wonderful.
Just how important was he to the offense in the early 2000s?
Absolutely. He made us all look like better coaches than we were, especially me. If he had been in New York or Chicago and did what he did over those 2 years with 27 touchdowns in one season, he'd already be in the Hall of Fame. He's a candidate. It's always going to be a struggle, but he was an outstanding player, the best running back I've ever been around, running with patience and understanding what's going into the blocking scheme and how to set his blocking scheme up with his offensive lineman and run accordingly. No one did it better than Priest Holmes that I've ever been around. And Marshall Faulk was flashier and faster and more explosive, but Priest had that knack of setting blockers up and helping it to block the scheme that they're confronted with and then utilize it and be patient and wait for it to happen. And of course, he had a great offensive line in front of him. Coached by Mike Solari, who did a great job.
Do you miss Arrowhead? Do you miss the energy? Do you miss the fans?
Who would not miss that place? I had two of my grandsons at game, and the one flew in from California, the other flew in from Greenwich, Connecticut, just to be there. And the first text I got once they got there, they call me Dad. He said, Dad, there's no atmosphere like Arrowhead. They just love it.
Better than the Super Bowl.
Yeah. It's a great. Selfishly, I hope they maybe remodel it, but never tear it down. Yeah.
The nostalgia.
We need you to talk to Frank White then, Coach Vermeil.
That's true. Coach, I want to ask about defensive coordinators because you had a couple here, and Greg Robinson and Gunther Cunningham, who both sadly passed away now. But Steve Spagnuolo for the Chiefs, and just kind of that pairing with Andy Reid, the importance of that tandem. And I mean, we don't have any coordinators in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, but if ever there was going to be one, would Steve Spagnuolo not be completely deserving of that?
Oh, no question. I've known Steve Spagnuolo since he was the defensive coordinator of the Barcelona Dragons in the old NFL Europe. I can tell you some stories on him. I think he's a hell of a football coach, and that's why the defense is so successful. Tom Coughlin knows how good a coach he is, too. They won a couple Super Bowls together. So, yeah, he's an outstanding football coach, and he's creative. And he stays one step ahead of what the offensive coordinators think they have already solved that problem. No, this week you got a new problem to solve, and no one does it any better than Steve.
Well, we let you gush on Steve Spagnuolo there, and now it's your turn to gush on Andy Reid. You've already done a little bit, and with very much reason, because he has 224 games he coached for the Eagles. He just coached his 200th game for the Chiefs. Take us in just kind of Andy Reid and what he's done, and not just Philadelphia and Kansas City, and the kind of coaching career, legendary career that he's built at two different places.
Well, you have to start with Andy Reid as the man that he is. The character, the deep commitment to the game, to the organization that he represents, to his players, to his coaching. I've been around coaching for a long, long time now at 89 years old. I have never heard one person ever say a bad word about Andy Reid, even in Philadelphia. Okay, that's tough. Now you hear the radio cranks from time to time, but not true football people. No, he's a complete package, as fine a package as probably ever coached in the National Football League. And the great thing he's been able to do is handle the highs and lows and stay on an even keel and go to work and focus on what he's got to do to help his team win football games and direct his staff accordingly. And, he's corrected what he didn't like last year, what he thought was going to be good, and it isn't. He's eliminated. He's built on it. So that offensive package is huge. And each week he can go back and refer to what he's learned from the past and utilizing this against these kinds of schemes and these physical matchups and all that. There's just nobody has his experience. Nobody. And, experience does help. Regardless of all these young geniuses coaching football right now, it's just a huge advantage to have his background, and his background to be so positive. I'm probably Andy Reid's biggest fan. Okay, not only because of his win-loss record, because his total package as a human being.
Absolutely. And you hear a lot of people talking about the sideline stuff with him and Travis Kelce, and they always come out and say, like, hey, this is good. This is competitive fire. We're pushing each other to be better. Is that what you make of it as well?
It scares me. It scares me. That's all. You don't see that happen very often. No one would handle it better than Andy. And I think if Andy felt he should go in a different direction with that, then he would. So I think he's handling it right, because he knows the relationship better than anybody else, the relationship between the two. Kelce's a hell of a football player. I think some players, not Kelce maybe, but some players get so full of themselves sometimes they lose control, and it becomes a negative. Yeah, and I don't think Travis would ever allow that to happen. And I know, because I know his dad, I know that Travis has great admiration and love for Andy Reid.
Coach, over the years, it seems like a part of your philosophy on offense is building up that offensive line first. St. Louis, you had Orlando Pace and those guys, and of course here in Kansas City, Rolf Waters, Wegman, Shields, Tate. I'm so glad that I can remember that just off the rip, but watching those guys all those years. But with the Chiefs' offensive line now, improving, especially over the past 2 years, this is the best line Mahomes has had since 2022. What are some of the top qualities that you look for as a coach and offensive lineman?
Well, size, strength, and agility, a knee bending ability, flexion. You know, the whole game is played higher today. Now they're up here with hands in front of the shoulder pads. Our era, in that era, the 2003-4, we had a different angle of the body coming off the line of scrimmage with more explosive type movements. And even here in Philadelphia, it's different. Everybody, a lot of the people play the game more with their offensive line, more standing up. Okay. And I'm not a big fan of it. I'm not saying the Chiefs do that, but I see a lot of teams do that. When I see a team like Detroit coming off the ball in the old-fashioned way with the shoulder pads down, knees bent, ankle flexion, and exploding into the defensive player, trying to remove and displace the defensive player, I love that philosophy. And I think Andy's offensive line is getting better, and it's got a ways to go. Okay.
Jared Allen just went into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I know you brought him to Kansas City. Can you talk about how amazing that was for you?
It was a real honor to present the gold jacket to him. You know, yes, we drafted him. Carl Peterson and staff drafted him. I was just part of it. I remember going getting up on the table in the 4th round when he was still sitting there saying, "Listen, we got to draft this guy." He reminded me so much of my 1st round pick at the Chiefs in Grant Wistrom, who was a fine player for us out in Nebraska. But he was bigger. And, you know, he came to us. He just loved to play football. He was immature. He had to grow up some, and it took him a while. And there's no correlation between age and maturity. Everyone, matures at a different rate. He was always a great kid to coach. He was fun to coach. You had to calm him down once in a while. I remember the defensive coordinator, Gunther, and those guys get mad at him once in a while. But Carl Harrison and those guys really loved him. They were coaching him, and you could see it right away. As soon as he got on our field and started going a one-on-one, we said, he's a hell of a lot better than a 4th round pick.
Oh, Coach, it is always so fun to catch up with you. Before we get you out of here, we got to hit you with our final 4 questions, 4 quick ones. We'll have some fun with it. And I got to start here. I know you're out in Pennsylvania, so I'll be careful with this one. But do you think the tush push should stay or should it go?
I don't like to play, but I wouldn't vote against it. So let it stay.
There you go.
Coach, Andy Reid came out and said that he took a play back when he was in Green Bay from a janitor. And I wanted to know if you ever took a play from some random person outside of the organization and used it in a game.
One time in St. Louis, we were no good anyway. And this one kept banging on my ear the first couple of years in there. And I finally said, "Send me a play." I don't ever know if I really truly used it, but I told him I did. Okay.
I love that.
Coach, how is coaching football like your winery? How is that? Is it different? Same at all?
I'm not a knowledgeable wine guy.
Uh-huh.
I like what I do within the wine business. I grew up helping my grandfather Vermeil make our family wines. They were not elite, 100 rated Cabernets or anything like that, but it was just family wine, and that's what I always enjoyed. I always enjoyed the process. I enjoyed the family conversations with my Italian grandmother and my French grandfather, all talking about wine and how important it was to our meal. And therefore, I started a hobby of making Vermeil wines, and friends of mine turned it into a business, including Carl Peterson. And it's struggling right now. We're probably going to end up the season about 7-10. Okay. Last year we were in the playoffs, but the whole wine world right now is struggling. Young kids are not drinking the wines like they used to. They're drinking the seltzers and all these aluminum can things with 4% of something in it. Older people aren't drinking as much, except for Vermeil. And just the whole business is down. The tourism in the Napa Valley is down. Tourism into San Francisco is way down. Well, that affects negatively Napa County and Sonoma County. So right now we're in a mediocre season, making the best wine we have ever made.
Coach, when you were in Kansas City, what was your go-to barbecue spot?
But I had a lot of Oklahoma Joe's, the old gas station.
Yeah.
I never went to a barbecue spot in my life in Kansas City that wasn't good. I came home there. I've got the biggest freaking smoker and barbecue from shipped from Kansas City. In fact, I upgraded them 2 or 3 times since I got home in 2006. It infected me. Okay, it infected me. And, Kansas City is just everybody that goes there that hasn't been there and spent some time. We saying the same thing I did. It's an unbelievable, wonderful city.
Coach, we cannot thank you enough. It always means a lot when you come and join us, and I just you're enjoying life and everything is going great. We just always love hearing from you. So thank you so much, and let's catch up again here down the road. Okay.
All right,
Thank you.
Chiefs, all right.
Thank you, Coach.
That's right.
That's your night.
Absolutely. Always an honor. Appreciate the friendship. Love you, Coach.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Always a treat to have Coach Vermeil on, man. Appreciate you guys working to get that.
It is some work involved. But hey, I got to be honest. Dick Vermeil, 89 years old. He got to the StreamYard link, got in here, had like a headline. Hey, you can't ask for much more than that. My grandma's about to turn 90 in November. You think she could click on a StreamYard link? There's not a chance in hell. So, props to Coach, telling it like it is. I mean, guys, we always talk about the 90s and nostalgic for that, but God, then we hit that next level, which was the Trent Green, the offense, the porous defense that we've talked to Coach about before. But that era was so Dante Hall and the kick returns, and like that was another era that's like second to none, when we think back on it. So,
but just as frustrating as the 90s. Let's not forget that. It was just as frustrating.
Not more so, because that team, we only went to the playoffs one time and had a no-punt game. So
I missed the night.
Do you all remember that game specifically? Because I do. Sure. I remember Priest fumbling.
Yep.
I remember the pass interference against Tony Gonzalez.
Yep. Johnny Moore dropped third down.
The Chiefs really could have won that game, but yeah.
Yeah, they just didn't have any of those old defensive mans.
We would have got smoked by New England the next week, though. We would have had to go to New England.
Yeah,
What game keeps you guys awake at night sometimes?
Well,
Colts Chiefs in 14.
In 14, it's for Brian.
Colts Chiefs 14.
14.
You have one?
95, 96 for sure. Colts, obviously 98-7, 8 Broncos. And
Chiefs Bengals AFC Championship game. Anyone?
That one too, yeah, of course.
But Brian, that 14 play that shouldn't even register on the Richter scale. That was
we were up 28 in the third quarter.
I know.
28, and we lose.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You had no hope after that game.
No, it was just.
Bro, that was the first. That's the only. I have never been more infuriated after a game. I broke a. I'm sorry to say this. I broke a mirror after that game. I just slammed the door. I slammed my door, and the mirror came down and broke. So that's.
And your wife was like, "We got to talk."
Well, at the time I was 28, 29, so I was nowhere near being married. So, but I just, along with those games that the fellas mentioned, of course, that one that's the first one that came to my mind because you're up 28 in the third quarter. Oh my God.
Well, that
didn't bother me at all. Like I had no hope for that regime anyway. So
do you remember that game? We had it was a body bag game for the Chiefs. It was like 8 injuries. Yeah. We were down to our last running back on the rock, Cyrus Gray. He was the last. I think he got hurt too.
Yeah, it was.
Now Davis got hurt. Jamal Charles got hurt. Brandon Flowers got hurt. I think Donnie Avery got hurt. Dwayne Bowe was hurt.
No, Dwayne Bowe did not get hurt because Alex Smith chose this 1 4th down and 1 4th and short play only to go downfield and try to make a play. And
he told me his foot was broken in the interview. I don't know, it was 6 years ago. Dwayne Bowe, maybe he was lying, but he told me his foot was broken during that play.
He said it would have. I thought he said it would have been broken had he tried to drag it in bounds and make the catch in bounds. No. It's weird, but I know what you're talking about.
Yes.
You had to stop and reach back for the ball because Alex is not, that's why he's not making the Hall of Fame. That's one of the reasons. Yeah.
He's nominated, Noah.
No need to throw dirt on Alex. Stop it, Noah.
I just feel bad for Alex. I can't think about his name and not think about his poor leg. Honestly.
Correct.
Oh, yeah, for
sure.
It breaks
my heart what he went through.
Yeah. Yeah. And way to battle back from that, because I think a lot of people wouldn't have had the courage or strength to. That's devastating. So, yeah, love to Alex for battling for that.
Guys, we have a game, Milena. We play
So
Monday Night Football next week against the 3-1 Jaguars. I'm just going to start this. Milena, the Chiefs are 2-2. The Jaguars are a surprising upstart 3-1. Are the Chiefs going to keep this rolling? What is your prediction for Monday?
The Chiefs are going to keep it rolling. I think they're confident. I think this was a confidence-building game we had yesterday. Very excited for them. I think they're going to – I think it's going to be a close game, like 28-24.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
I'll just go. I've got a weird score.
What'd you say?
I've got a weird score. I've got 26-19. I've got a bunch of field goals for the Jags. I have a missed extra point for the Chiefs. Otherwise, it would be 27. So Harrison Butker keeps up to his usual business. We miss an extra point, but we do win 27-19. Not the 38 points. The Jags are playing pretty good defense. Had 4 turnovers against the 49ers in their latest win to move them to 3-1 like Clint was talking about. So it's not going to be easy, but it'll be comfortable enough. 27-19 victory, Chiefs.
I'm thinking of a weird score too, especially since the Jaguars are going to be wearing their 90s throwbacks, their Mark Brunell era uniforms next week on Monday Night Football against the Chiefs. Not sure what the Chiefs are going to be rocking. I'm hoping for white on white with the Red Sox, but it's probably going to be white jerseys, red pants. Sure. With that being said, the Chiefs score another game in the 30s, 33-18. Maybe that's a scoregami. I don't know. Chiefs get the dub on Monday Night Football as we head to face Detroit.
You know what? Maybe it's just last night, but I'm in one of those modes where like this would do a poor number on the OCD that I have about like scores and records. But I saw the Packers and Cowboys last night turn in just a wildly entertaining game that ended in a tie. I'm going Chiefs 27, Jaguars 27, tie game.
Wow.
Shane Williams lives on.
You don't strike me as the OCD type, though.
Oh,
we're done here. A tie.
Speaking of being done, before we officially end the show, next week we are going to be doing the show Tuesday. Since the Chiefs play on Monday night, we will be on Tuesday, and we already have a guest lined up for that. Since we're heading into the Lions, what better than my favorite quarterback? I think one of the great quarterbacks of all time, definitely the best backup quarterback of all time, Charlie Batch, will be on the show talking all things Lions.
You couldn't get Scott Mitchell?
I didn't want Scott Mitchell, so that was easy.
That is funny. We'll see how this tie game is received by fans and the organization as a whole, guys. We cannot thank you enough for being a part of it each and every week here. From Milena Scantlin-Barrett, Brian B. Shinan from Hot 103 Jams.
But Joey Harrington.
Oregon Ducks, baby. Thank you, guys. It's been great. Arrowhead Allies, go Chiefs. Go Kansas City Chiefs. As Dick Vermeil said as he on his way out, go Chiefs. He said that.
Let's avoid that tie on Monday night. Get a win. Go Chiefs!